There's something humiliating about realizing the other woman knows your body better than your own husband does. And not because she's some mysterious stranger. No. Because she literally spots you while you're doing Romanian deadlifts. That's how I found out. Her name is Jess. Blonde ponytail, visible abs, the kind of motivational quotes in bio girl who calls leg day her church. And the kicker? She trains at my gym. With me. Or rather, she used to. It started subtly. Jess had been my Saturday morning workout buddy for 6 months. We met through a small women's strength group. I liked her energy. She pushed me, spotted me, complimented my form when I hit a new PR. She knew I was married. I'd talked about Daniel during warm-ups like any wife would. Half proud, half annoyed, always affectionate. And she always listened with that sweet girl attentiveness, like a friend, like someone you trust. But things shifted. It was the small things, always.
She started asking oddly specific questions about my schedule. Not in a nosy way, more like she was confirming something.
You said Daniel's off on Wednesdays, right? Must be nice to have midweek date nights. I didn't think much of it. Not at first. I just laughed and said, if by date night you mean laundry and takeout, then yeah. Then one afternoon, while I was cooling down on the rowing machine, I saw it. Jess had left her phone unlocked on the bench next to me. A text lit up the screen. Tonight? Can't wait. She's at Pilates. The contact name? Just a flame emoji. I wish I could tell you I was one of those women who instantly put 2 and 2 together, but I wasn't. I dismissed it, told myself I was being paranoid. People use emoji contacts all the time. Maybe it was someone else. Maybe it wasn't even what I thought. But then I saw it again, another time. Different message. She's at the 6 p.m. class again. You're good. You ever get that gut punch moment?
The one where your stomach knows before your brain does? Yeah, that. That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through our shared calendar, my class times, my training sessions, and I started realizing they lined up too perfectly with Daniel's mysterious errands, his sudden love for solo hikes, his new interest in cold-pressed juice bars that, strangely, only existed near my gym. I didn't confront him. Oh no. I've watched enough true crime and survived enough boardroom politics to know this. Don't go to war without ammunition. So I smiled. I kissed him goodnight, and then I started digging. Screenshots, photos, a backup of our home Wi-Fi router logs. Yes, I'm that woman now. Jess had been logging into my guest network every time she came over to pick up a pre-workout sample or borrow resistance bands. Turns out, resistance wasn't the only thing she'd been testing. I started collecting evidence like I was building a case for court. Because in a way, I was. But the first move I made? I booked a new personal training session with a different coach in a different gym across town. Same class time. Just to see what would happen. He didn't even ask where I was, just kissed me on the forehead and said, "Have a good workout, babe." So I smiled, went to my new gym, and sent my best friend to the old one. She spotted Daniel's car parked right out front at 6:07 p.m. You'd think I cried, but I didn't. I smiled so hard my face hurt, because now, the game had officially started. They thought they were playing behind my back, but I've always preferred playing in the shadows. And next week, I'm inviting Jess to a little girls' night she'll never forget. So, here's where it starts getting good. You know what I realized, staring at those Wi-Fi logs, those screenshots, and that painfully familiar black SUV parked at the gym during his solo hikes? Cheaters are lazy. They always think you won't check, won't dig, won't follow the crumbs because they think you're too tired, too loyal, too in love to play detective. What they don't know is that when a woman feels something is off, we don't just notice.
we document. And once we're sure, we perform. See, I didn't want to confront Jess right away. That would have been messy, emotional, predictable. And me? I like my revenge like I like my skincare. Multi-step, ice cold, and glowing when it's done. So instead,
I invited her out. Girls' night. I texted her on a Monday. Wine and face masks. I feel like we haven't hung out properly in forever. She replied in 3 minutes. Oh my God, yes, I'd love that. You okay though? You seemed a little off Saturday. Oh, honey, you have no idea. I told her I'd host. My house, Friday, 8 p.m. The same house where she's probably been sneaking in the side door when I'm out doing glute bridges. And the best part? I told Daniel after I'd invited her. Babe, Jess is coming over Friday night, I said while loading the dishwasher. She's been so sweet lately. Honestly, I think she's the only girl at the gym who gets me. The way his eyes twitched, just the tiniest flicker, was all the confirmation I needed. Jess? Oh, cool, he said too casually. Yeah, She's chill. Chill. That's how he described the woman he's been sweating all over while telling me he's on a cleanse. Fast forward to Friday night. I set the scene like a Pinterest witch. Wine chilled, candles flickering, charcuterie board arranged with the passive-aggressive elegance of a woman on the brink of setting everything on fire, but choosing vibes instead. Jess showed up right on time. Tight jeans, crop top, perfect high ponytail. She brought a bottle of rosé and an energy that said, I definitely feel zero guilt about this. She hugged me like we were best friends, told me I looked amazing, asked if Daniel would be joining us. Oh no, I smiled. He's out. Poker night with the guys. Her smile twitched, just for a second. We sat on the couch sipping wine and doing sheet masks while I made casual conversation like it wasn't taking every ounce of restraint not to lunge across the table and ask how my husband likes his protein shake and hers. Instead, I leaned back, took a sip, and dropped it like it was nothing. So, I said, swirling my wine, Daniel told me something interesting. She stiffened slightly, then laughed. Oh? Like what? I tilted my head. He said he's been seeing someone. And she froze. Didn't blink, didn't breathe, just froze. And that was the moment I knew, 100%. No more theories, no more maybe I'm crazy. She was the other woman. And now she was sitting on my couch, in my home, sipping my wine, and trying to decide whether I knew everything or just enough to be dangerous. I smiled again, slowly, kindly. I told him, I continued, that honesty is always better than hiding things. Don't you think? She stared at me like I'd just pulled a knife from behind the brie. I mean, yeah, of course. Oh, good. I clinked her glass gently. I'm glad we're on the same page. I let her squirm in that silence for a minute, let the tension wrap around us like smoke. She picked at a cracker. I smiled and refilled her glass. She left an hour later, claiming she had an early yoga class. I walked her to the door and hugged her tight. Next time, I whispered in her ear, you bring the wine, I'll bring the truth. She thought that was bad? Oh no, that was just foreplay. The real revenge starts with an email, an anonymous one, sent to her clients, with screenshots. By Saturday morning, I was already 10 steps ahead. Jess posted a boomerang on Instagram of her sipping a smoothie captioned, "Sweat, sip, repeat." Like she hadn't nearly choked on her own guilt less than 12 hours earlier. I watched it from my burner account, the one I created for exactly this. See, Jess isn't just a trainer, she's a brand. She markets herself as a body-positive lifestyle coach.
She's got sponsors,
brand deals, and a monthly e-newsletter filled with quotes like, "Authenticity is everything." Oh, sweetie, if only your clients knew how authentic you really are. Grinding on married men while coaching other women to respect their bodies. So I decided to help her be transparent. I collected screenshots. Not just texts and gym check-ins, I had candid shots too. Airdropped from another woman in the locker room who'd seen Jess making out with Daniel behind the squat rack one night. Turns out she cheated on her ex too. Women love solidarity. From my burner, I sent one beautiful little message to the PR team of her biggest sponsor. Subject line: FYI, thought you'd want to know who you're paying. Attached, screenshots, date-stamped photos, a list of 5 women from the gym who'd all seen extra coaching sessions happening between Jess and Daniel. I even quoted her own bio: "Strong women empower others." Then I added, "Unless your husband's involved." 2 hours later, she posted a cryptic story. Quote, "0. Cute. Real cute." Daniel, of course, had no clue. He was busy texting me gym memes and asking if I wanted Thai for dinner. It was almost adorable, like watching a toddler steal cookies while covered in chocolate. But I wasn't done. The final touch? I printed out one of Jess's branded fitness flyers, the one with her posing on a yoga mat, smiling wide, and I mailed it to her apartment. On the back, I wrote in black Sharpie, "How does it feel when the burn isn't from the workout?" No signature, just facts. She wanted to play in the dark. Now she's stumbling in it. But Daniel? He's about to get his own surprise. Because I've been tracking more than his location. I've been tracking his money. You know how they say, follow the money? That's exactly what I did. Because if Daniel thought cheating on me with his dumbbell Barbie was reckless, wait until he found out I had eyes on every dime he ever tried to hide. We share a joint account, technically, but I'm the one who set up the auto payments, the budgeting spreadsheets, the retirement allocations. He's always been the vibes and Venmo kind of guy. I'm the reason we don't live in a studio apartment with LED lights and a PS5 as a coffee table. So while he was sneaking around in the squat racks, I was tracing transactions. You know what I found? A recurring charge to a juice bar nowhere near his work or mine. A Venmo to someone named JL with the peach emoji. And a hotel charge on a Wednesday afternoon. A boutique place with rooftop views. How romantic. I didn't confront him. Instead, I made some adjustments. I rerouted our auto payments to my personal card, quietly froze the joint savings account due to suspicious activity. Then I created a brand new checking account under my name and transferred my half, no, slightly more than my half, into it. Daniel, being the financial genius he is, didn't notice for a full week. He only figured it out when his Spotify Premium stopped working. "Babe, did the card expire? My account's frozen." I looked up from my book, totally calm. That's weird. Maybe the bank flagged something. He shrugged and went back to scrolling Instagram, clueless that I had quietly declawed him like the petty house cat he was. But I wasn't done. I scheduled a meeting with our financial advisor, solo. And when she asked if Daniel would be joining, I just smiled and said, "He's a little distracted lately. I'm here to clean things up." She nodded, probably knew the type. The husband who passwords but never forgets to pack his cologne on fake business trips. I changed all the passwords that mattered, redirected the mortgage alerts to me only, canceled our joint Amazon account, too. Let him figure out how to rewatch The Office on his own. Because if he wanted to play single, I was happy to start billing him like one. Next stop,
his precious gym. If he thought I'd just disappear while he flirted his way through protein shakes, he was about to find out what real weight feels like. When a man turns the gym into a playground, it's only right the jungle gym turns back on him. See, Daniel loved that gym. He called it his temple of focus. Translation: it's where he pretended to meditate between sets while flirting with anything in spandex. I let him have that fantasy, right up until I turned it into his personal hell. I didn't storm in yelling. Please, I'm not a reality show contestant. I'm the producer. Instead, I joined a new gym under my real name. But for his gym, I kept my membership active. Quietly. Silently. Purposefully. And then, I requested a freeze. Not a cancellation, a freeze. Which, by the way, locks the membership at the current rate, but bars the account from being used. Guess whose card was on file for my account? Yep, Daniel's. So now he's getting monthly charges for a gym he thinks I use, while I get to walk away without paying a cent. That's not revenge. That's row. But the main event? The community board. Every gym has one. A place for lost water bottles, personal training ads, and well-meaning inspirational quotes. I printed out a fresh flyer and pinned it dead center. Missing integrity. Last seen somewhere between a married man's ego and a personal trainer's spray tan. If found, please return to the wife he swore he loved during their anniversary dinner 2 weeks before sleeping with someone who charges $75 per hour for core confidence. Reward: closure. Signed, still lifting more than your side piece. I even added little tear-off tabs with #cheater-alert and my burner Instagram. By noon, 3 tabs were gone. By 5, the manager called me. Hey, we took the flyer down. Not really appropriate for the space. Totally understand, I replied, sweet as sugar. Just trying to raise awareness. And just like that, Daniel became a cautionary tale with biceps. Next move? His phone. No, I didn't hack it. I didn't need to. Because the best secrets aren't on devices. They're in habits. And I was about to use every one of his against him. I never touched Daniel's phone. Didn't need to. He was one of those guys who left breadcrumbs like a damn bakery. Same 4-digit passcode for everything, reused passwords, always connected to the house Wi-Fi. Lazy cheaters make revenge easier than Sunday morning. But instead of snooping through his messages, I studied his habits. Daniel was predictable. Every morning, black coffee, 2 scrambled eggs, and TikTok scrolls for exactly 17 minutes while sitting at the kitchen counter. Then gym. Then freelance work, aka sending bad Photoshop edits to clients who didn't know better. Then fantasy football trash talk, dinner, and TV. So when I saw his weekly Zoom meeting pop up on our shared calendar, I had an idea. See, Daniel had forgotten that our Google Calendar was synced to a shared home iPad, the one we used for streaming yoga and ordering groceries, the one he'd once connected to his iCloud temporarily. Big mistake. That night, while he was in the shower, I pulled up the iPad and found his photo backups. And guess what was sitting neatly in an album titled Fitness Progress? A photo of Jess, shirt half off, in my bathroom mirror. The timestamp? During the solo hike weekend. My bathroom, my mirror, my towels in the background. The same ones I had folded the day before like some unsuspecting 1950s wife. It would have crushed me months ago. But now, I just exhaled. Cold, focused. I airdropped the photo to my laptop, then deleted the backup from the iPad. didn't touch anything else. Left the rest of his digital dirt right where it was. Because what's better than knowing someone's lying? Letting them think they're getting away with it. The next morning, I set up a private email account, sent the photo to myself, drafted a folder, called it evidence for later. Not for a confrontation, not even for divorce court, yet. Just insurance. Then I took that picture, cropped out the background, and turned it into a ghost. I posted a new story from my burner. Funny how the mirror always shows who's really there. No tags, no names, but 2 views came in instantly. Jess, then Daniel. By midnight, Jess's account went private. Daniel tried to cuddle me in bed like nothing had happened. I let him, because the best part of revenge is when they still think they're safe. He thought the photo was bad? Wait until he sees the guest list for my birthday party. Spoiler alert, it includes every person he never wanted in the same room. And me? I'll be wearing red. My birthday was coming up, and Daniel, bless his guilty little heart, asked if I wanted to keep it low-key this year. Translation? He didn't want to spend the night watching me blow out candles while wondering if Jess would text during the cake cutting. But I said, sure.
Let's keep it small, just close friends.
What I didn't say? I already had the guest list locked in, and it was weaponized. I invited my best friend Marla, the same one who spotted Daniel's car outside Jess's gym the night I staged my alternative workout. I invited my coworker Jake, who once called Daniel a human beige flag. I even invited Tasha, his ex, who now did PR for a skincare brand and secretly hated being lied to more than she hated Daniel's Spotify rap playlists. Everyone said yes. But the piece de resistance? I sent an invite to Jess. Not for me, no. I had Marla text her. Hey, Harper's doing a surprise party Friday at Luca's downtown. You should totally come. She'll love it. Jess, being terminally dense or just boldly shameless, replied, OMG, didn't know she was doing anything. I might swing by. Perfect. Friday night arrived and I made sure everything was flawless. Red dress, deep slit. Classic old Hollywood makeup. Diamond earrings Daniel had bought me 2 anniversaries ago. The last time he still looked me in the eye during dinner. The moment he saw me, his mouth actually fell open. You look, he blinked. Wow. I smiled. It's my night. And it was. We arrived to a room full of curated chaos. Laughter, clinking glasses, slow head turns as Daniel walked in beside me, like a man obliviously escorting himself into a courtroom. And then came Jess. I clocked her the second she entered. High ponytail, too much bronzer, clearly not expecting me to be hosting. Her eyes scanned the room, landed on me. I raised my glass and mouthed, "Welcome." Daniel's hand twitched. Jess stood frozen for half a beat, then walked straight back out the door. Didn't even fake a phone call, just left. Daniel turned to me. "Did you invite her?" I sipped my wine, red lipstick perfect against the glass. "Of course not," I said. "But isn't it funny how secrets never stay where you hide them?" Now that the mask was cracking, it was time to go for the jugular. And that meant one final surprise. One he'd never see coming. Not at home, not at night, but at his job. Daniel always thought work was his escape, his little haven, where he could slap on that charming project manager face, charm interns with his team synergy buzzwords, and pretend he wasn't rotting from the inside out. He never expected the truth to clock in, punch his ego in the face, and collect overtime. See, he worked at a boutique creative agency, hip, modern, painfully obsessed with workplace culture. Think exposed brick, kombucha on tap, fake laughter echoing off beanbags. I'd been there once, years ago, for a company mixer. Back when Daniel still introduced me as his better half. I decided it was time to reintroduce myself. But not in person. Oh no, that would have been too loud, too easy. Instead,
I sent an anonymous tip to the company's ethics officer. Subject line: possible violation of workplace conduct policy. You might want to look into this. Attached: screenshots of Daniel's messages to Jess, some of which were very unsuitable for Slack. A cropped photo of them kissing in gym gear, time-stamped on a day he claimed he was out sick. A note: Jess Carter, isn't she a former contractor for your employee wellness campaign? She was. The same campaign that required all contributors to sign a no relationships with employees clause. Oops. I waited. Didn't take long. By Wednesday, Daniel came home quiet. The kind of quiet that doesn't make noise. It radiates, like smoke after a fire. You okay? I asked sweetly, stirring my tea. He didn't look at me. They're reviewing something from HR, he muttered. Someone sent in stuff. Messages. I blinked. Messages? He flinched. Then he said it. I think I'm being investigated. I took a sip of chamomile like it was champagne.
So weird, I said. People can be so petty. He nodded slowly, trying to piece it all together. Still unaware the petty person was sitting across the table in silk pajamas and not even breaking a sweat. I'd dismantled his relationship, his finances, and now his reputation. All that was left was the truth, the public kind, and I knew exactly where to post it. You can destroy a man's life behind closed doors, but if you want the lesson to stick, you make it public. The night after Daniel's HR meeting, I watched him pace the kitchen like a caged animal. His phone kept lighting up. His eyes kept darting toward it,
then away. He was unraveling, and I wasn't even touching him. Do you know anyone named Talia? He finally asked. I shrugged. Nope. Why? He hesitated. She said she's a reporter, freelance. Said someone sent her a tip about internal misconduct at my job. I don't even know how she got my number. Ah, that would be the burner email I sent to her tip line, along with the documents. The ones outlining how Jess, the fitness coach who once led a mindfulness Zoom, was giving something a little extra to the married project manager who approved her invoice. Talia didn't need the whole story. She just needed a lead, and I made sure she got one. But Daniel wasn't the real target anymore. See, his world was already folding in on itself. Jess had vanished off social media, the gym rumor mill had gone radioactive, and his agency was quietly pulling him off client-facing work. It was poetic, watching him sweat harder in his office chair than he ever did on a treadmill. But I had one last truth to air, and I knew exactly where to post it. There's a private Facebook group in our town, one of those local women supporting local women kind of places. I'd been a quiet member for years, mostly for recipes and to lurk on drama. On a Thursday afternoon, I posted anonymously. PSA: if your husband works in marketing, goes to district gym, and suddenly started drinking cold-pressed juice and booking personal growth retreats, you might want to check his texts. Mine was cheating with his trainer. I found out when she sent him a mirror selfie, in our house, while I was out doing Pilates. I stayed silent, collected receipts, froze accounts, let HR and his sponsors find out the truth. Just a reminder, you don't have to scream to burn someone down.
Sometimes silence is gasoline. Signed, a woman who lifts more than weights.
The comments exploded, hundreds of them, women tagging friends, screenshots being passed around like holy texts. Some even guessed who it was. I never confirmed, but someone inevitably dropped Jess's name. By the next morning, Jess's website was down. Her IG went dark. And Daniel? He showed up at home early, his face pale. "Someone's posting about me, about us," he said, like I didn't already know. "Clients are backing out. I might lose my job." I looked up from my laptop. Why would someone do that? He stared at me. "You knew." I smiled. "I always knew. I just waited until you didn't." He didn't speak. Couldn't. He sat down, heavy and stunned, like someone finally seeing the smoke after ignoring the fire alarms. That night, I packed a suitcase, calmly. No drama, no tears, just closure. As I zipped it, I said, "This isn't about the cheating anymore. It's about respect. And you lost that long before your pants came off." He begged, of course. Croaked out some nonsense about rebuilding, about therapy, about not throwing everything away. But it was already gone. He just hadn't noticed. The final act isn't about him at all. It's about what I built from the ashes, and who I became when I stopped trying to be the good wife and started being the woman who finishes the story. The funny thing about endings, they rarely come with a bang. No dramatic rainstorm, no screaming breakup, no cinematic moment where I slap Daniel across the face and walk away in slow motion while Beyoncé plays in the background. No, when I left Daniel, it was sunny, quiet, a little breezy. The air smelled like jasmine and finality. I moved out on a Saturday, took only what was mine, and a few things that were never his to begin with. The red dress from my birthday party, the Dutch oven his mother gave us that I cooked in more times than he ever said thank you, and of course, the box of receipts. A reminder, a trophy. I didn't leave a note, just deleted our shared calendar. That was the note. Over the next few months, I built a life that was so entirely mine, it felt like breathing for the first time in years. I transferred to a smaller firm across the city where no one knew me as Daniel's wife. I started doing Pilates because I wanted to, not because it fit some curated life we were pretending to live. I got a dog, a rescue mutt named Karma, and no, that wasn't accidental. Jess disappeared off the radar entirely. Rumor had it she left town. Her brand collapsed faster than her morals. Last I checked, her Instagram had been wiped clean, a blank grid, like a confession. Daniel didn't lose his job right away, but he was sidelined, eventually encouraged to resign. He sent a long, pathetic email 2 months later. "Still thinking about everything. Would love to talk. We were good once, weren't we?" I never replied. You don't resurrect something that already died of rot. Instead, I focused on who I was becoming. I picked up painting again, started going on walks without checking the time. I laughed louder. I slept better. I no longer jumped at every text notification like it was a grenade. And somewhere in all that stillness, I realized something. I wasn't just getting revenge on Daniel. I was reclaiming myself. Every step, every calculated move, it wasn't just about punishing him. It was about waking me up, about remembering that I'm not someone you betray quietly. I'm the woman who knows your passwords, your patterns, your weakest spot, and smiles while she turns the lights on. I'm the woman who can burn down your fantasy life, hand you the matches, and still walk away without smudging her lipstick. So if you're reading this, and you think you're losing your mind because something feels off, trust it. If he starts hiding his phone, changing his scent, If his compliments come less often while his abs get tighter, start taking notes. Smile sweetly. And when the time is right, don't yell, don't beg, execute. Because revenge isn't about destruction. It's about resurrection of the woman you were before he made you doubt her. And me? I'm not bitter. I'm better. And baby, I lift heavier now, in every way that matters.